This is IDS, Chapter 2, Managing Your Time. Roberto is a full-time student and works 24 hours per week. He is also active in his local temple and likes to socialize with friends. Roberto states, "The first year of college is a culture shock. If you don't prioritize, your dreams can quickly slip away." He spent a few years in a music career but decided he wanted to become a physical therapist. To reduce expenses, he opted to attend a community college for 2 years and then transfer to a 4-year school. Roberto is the first person in his family to go to college, a first-generation college student. Managing your time. You must set priorities. You must devote your time to what matters most. Avoid time management stumbling blocks such as procrastination. Set aside time to complete assignments. How you manage time reflects what you value, what is most important to you, and choices have consequences. Time management involves knowing your goals, setting priorities to meet your goals, anticipating the unexpected, taking control of your time, making a commitment to punctuality, and carrying out your plans. The first step to effective time management is recognizing that you can be in control. We all make choices about how to spend our time. We all have control over how we use our time. We have control over the commitments we choose to make. We also have control over many small decisions that affect our time management success, such as what time we get up, how much sleep we get, how much time we spend studying, and whether or not we exercise. Being in control means you make your own decisions. 2 of the most commonly cited differences in high school and college are increased autonomy or independence and greater responsibility. Make sure the way you spend your time aligns with your most important values. For example, if you value becoming an expert in a particular academic area, you will want to learn everything about the field and participate in internships. If you are an undecided major, spend the first semester exploring a few different areas of interest. Taking a career assessment will be a helpful tool in helping you select your major. The psychologists Jane Burka and Lenora Yuen summarized research findings about why people procrastinate, and the reasons include fear of failure, fear of success. They are perfectionists. Not doing the task is easier than being dissatisfied with results. They find the task boring. They find the task irrelevant or busy work, or they think they can learn the material just as well without completing the assignment. Simply not enjoying the assignment is not a good reason to put it off. It's an excuse, not a valid reason. Throughout life, you will be faced with tasks that you don't find interesting, and in many cases, you won't have the option not to do them. If you find yourself procrastinating, reassess your commitment to your education. Remind yourself of the possible consequences if you fail to complete the task. Create a to-do list. Check off things as they are completed. Break big jobs down into smaller steps. Tackle short, easy-to-accomplish tasks first. And promise yourself a reward for finishing the task. Find a place to study that is comfortable and doesn't allow for distractions and interruptions. Say no to friends and family who want your attention, and agree to spend time with them when the task is finished. Don't talk on the phone, send email or text messages, or surf the web while you're in a planned study session. If you study in your room, close your door. If the previous ideas don't sufficiently motivate you to get to work, you need to re-examine your purposes, values, and priorities. Answer the following questions. Why am I in college here and now? Why am I in this course? What is really important to me? Are these values important enough to forego some short-term fun or laziness in order to get down to work? Are my academic goals really my own, or were they imposed on me by family members, my employer, or societal expectations? If you are unwilling to stop procrastinating and get busy, perhaps you should not be in college right now. Researchers at Carleton University in Canada have found that college students who procrastinate in their studies also avoid confronting other tasks and problems. They are also more likely to develop unhealthy habits such as higher levels of alcohol consumption, increased smoking, insomnia, a poor diet, and lack of exercise. To combat the urge to procrastinate, you should think about how to prioritize your tasks, goals, and values. Which goals and objectives are most important to you and most consistent with your values? Which are the most urgent? Don't ignore long-term goals to meet short-term goals. Careful planning means you can meet both. Maintaining a to-do list with ranked items may be helpful along with their deadlines. For many students, the greatest challenge of prioritizing will be balancing work and family obligations. Good advanced planning will help you meet these challenges. You need to discuss your academic responsibilities with your family members and employer. Most professors will work with you when conflicts arise, but you must communicate with them. Many of the decisions you make today are reversible. You can change your major, your career, and even your life goals. But it is important to take control of your life by establishing your own goals for the future, setting your priorities, and managing your time accordingly. Some college students lose sight of their goals and spend time engaging in new experiences, and some students spend extra time in college making up for poor decisions they made earlier. Staying focused means always keeping your eyes on your most important purposes for being in college. Ask yourself whether what you are doing contributes to or detracts from those purposes. Feeling overwhelmed is common, but you are in control of the way you spend your time. The bottom line is to stay focused and take control of your time and your life. Make a plan that begins with your priorities: to attend classes, to study, to work, to spend time with people who are important to you. Then think about the necessities of life. You must sleep, eat, exercise, and relax. You need to leave some time for fun. Finish what needs to be done before you have fun. Don't forget personal time. Plan for quiet study time. Time management is easier if you use a tool to schedule events. Almost all successful people use some sort of calendar or planner, either paper or electronic, to set and keep their appointments, their assignments and tasks, and other important activities and commitments. Your campus bookstore might design and sell a calendar specifically for your school with important deadlines and dates provided. Map your schedule for the entire semester with a template such as that found on page 27. It is best not only to rely solely on an electronic calendar, to keep a backup copy on paper in case something happens to the electronic copy. Update your calendar, check it often, to reduce stress. Tips for creating a weekly schedule. Try to reserve at least 2 hours of study time for each hour you spend in class. For example, if you take a full-time class load of 12 credit hours, you should plan to study an additional 24 hours per week. Think of this 36-hour week commitment as comparable to a full-time job. If you also work, you need to consider how many hours you can work. You may need to take fewer credit hours or work fewer hours. Biorhythms are the internal mechanisms that drive our daily patterns of physical, emotional, and mental activity. Depending upon your biorhythms, obligations, and potential distractions, decide whether you study more effectively in the day or evening, or a combination of both. Some students stay up late, while other students get up early to study. You know what works for you. Not all assignments are equal in time required for completion. Once you have plotted your future commitments with a long-term planner and decided how to spend your time each week, stay on top of obligations with a to-do list. Last-minute reminders are helpful. Items on the to-do list include errands you need to run, appointments to make or keep, email messages to send, and anything else that you are prone to forget. As a first-year student, you might not have had much flexibility in determining your course schedule. By the time you were allowed to register for classes, some sections of the courses you needed may have already closed. You might also not have known if you would prefer taking classes back-to-back or giving yourself a break between classes. How might you wisely use time between classes? Do you prefer spreading classes over 5 or 6 days of the week, or would you prefer going to class just 2 or 3 days a week, or even once a week for a longer class period? Your attention span and other commitments should influence your decision. Think about how to make your schedule work for you, how to use your time most efficiently. Consider your biorhythms and recognize which time of the day or evening in which you are the most alert and engaged. There are many factors to consider when you are trying to make a realistic and workable class schedule, and many of them, like traffic and parking, may be beyond your control. Always be sure to factor time in to get to and from school and from one class to another, especially if parking is a problem. Also think about when you will study, eat, and connect with other students. A break between classes can be an ideal time to review notes, prepare for a test, eat, or meet with a study group. Several risks are associated with the block schedule. If you are ill, you can fall behind in all classes. You might get tired sitting in classes back to back. You don't have time to look over material before the exam. You may have only 10 minutes before the next class meets. And you may have several exams on the same day. Being overextended is a primary source of stress for college students. Being involved in campus life is very important, but don't allow your academic work to take a backseat to extracurricular activities or other time commitments. Learn to say no. Do not feel obligated to give a reason. If you find yourself overextended and you can't keep up with coursework and have decided to drop the class, be sure to drop before the deadline so you won't have a low grade on your transcript. If you receive financial aid, remember it is tied to your carrying a certain number of credit hours. Make sure you are aware of this before you drop a class. If you can't drop the course, look at your other time commitments and then let something else go. Where should you study? This is a personal preference. Some can't study in places of leisure such as the kitchen table, the living room, or in front of the television because this is an area common to distractions. If you study on your bed, you might fall asleep. Find quiet places both on campus and at home where you can concentrate and develop a mindset each time you sit down to do your classwork. Try to stick to a routine as you study. The more firmly you have established a specific time and a quiet place to study, the more effective you will be in keeping up with your schedule. Break down large tasks into smaller parts. Use weekends to work on larger projects such as term or research papers. Tips to reduce distractions. Turn off the computer, TV, CD, or DVD player, iPod, or radio unless the background noise really does help you concentrate or drowns out more distracting noises such as people talking or laughing. Silence your phone so you aren't distracted by incoming calls or text messages. Turn off the computer, TV, CD, or DVD player, iPod, or radio. Oops, sorry, that one came up twice. Stay away from the computer if you're tempted to check email or Facebook. Try not to let personal concerns interfere with studying. Develop an agreement with family members or roommates about quiet time for studying. How does time management relate to respect? Think of the last time you made an appointment with someone who either forgot the appointment or was very late. Were you upset or disappointed by the person wasting your time? Most of us have had the experience of having someone else disrespect our time. In college, if you repeatedly arrive late for class or leave early, you're breaking the basic rules of politeness and you are intentionally or unintentionally showing a lack of respect for your instructors and your classmates. At times, instructors might perceive certain behaviors to be inappropriate or disrespectful. In college, punctuality is a virtue. Be in class on time. Arrive early enough to be seated and ready for class when it starts. Be on time for scheduled appointments. Disruptive classroom behaviors include leaving class to answer a phone call, text messaging, sending instant messages, doing homework for class or another class, falling asleep, talking, even whispering. Make adequate transportation plans in advance, get enough sleep at night, wake up early enough to be on time for class, and complete assignments prior to class. Time management is a lifelong skill. Good time management skills is important to your success and is also a way in which you show respect for others, your family, your friends, and college instructors. Make sure the way you use your time supports your goals for being in college. Work to overcome procrastination in your academic work and your life. Get organized by using a planner. Devise a weekly timetable of activities and then stick to it. Create and use day-by-day paper or electronic to-do list. Identify the things that distract you and work on reducing these distractions. Practice punctuality so you don't miss important activities and unintentionally offend others who are expecting you to be on time. And this is the end of Chapter 2, IDS 110.